can something be so beautiful that you don't want to share it? I've been making YouTube videos for just over a year now, and I can already see the way that I think about travel changing. Instead of where do I want to go, it's where can I go that'll be the most interesting? What country can I visit that will get the most people to watch? What is going to get me the most likes, views, and comments? And so, as soon as I saw 2 or 3 of those hyper-edited hot air balloon photos with millions of likes on Instagram, I knew that I needed to make a video about the fairy chimney capital of central Turkey, Cappadocia. What I didn't know was that once I got there, I wouldn't want to film it. I was based for 5 weeks out of Istanbul, so I set aside 3 of my open days and took the short flight down to Cappadocia. Now, for the uninitiated, Cappadocia is not actually a city. It's a region. It's characterized by the fairy chimneys that cover the area, and were used for centuries by the locals as residences, churches, tombs, shelters, and more. To get there, you have to fly into either the Nevşehir or Kayseri airports. And from there, you can choose which town in Cappadocia you would like to stay in. The most popular is Göreme, which is where I chose to stay. I flew into Kayseri, and from there, I took a shuttle that would take me the whole 70 kilometers to my accommodation at the Risus Cave Hotel. The whole reason I booked this hotel is because I thought it would look cool in this video. And I mean, to be honest, it sort of does, right? It's a cave hotel, and the room is actually carved out of stone. I especially realized this a couple days in when it felt like there was sand all over the floor, and that's because the room was literally eroding and crumbling around me. Insane. The cave hotels in Cappadocia are probably the second biggest tourist attraction after the balloons. They're super iconic, and you do sort of feel like you're living in the same way that the local people have been doing for centuries. And just like in the rest of Turkey, at this hotel, there are cats everywhere. This cat looks beautiful and was also a terrible, loud, annoying menace. I love her. Göreme is the best. It is also exclusively and completely and entirely a tourist town in every possible sense of the word. But honestly, I found it super endearing. In Cappadocia, they make hot air balloon souvenirs out of anything. Leather, yarn, porcelain. It's actually cool to see so many different kinds of artisans have the chance to incorporate hot air balloons into their work. The major downside of staying in such a genuinely touristy city is that it's pretty difficult to find a good place to eat. Most of these places have hosts standing out on the street trying to draw you in with their charisma and charm, and that's always a bad sign. One of the few exceptions that I was able to find is a cave restaurant called Wooden Spoon. I figured that even if the food wasn't good, I could still take some video of a cave restaurant and show it to you as part of a unique and unusual cultural experience. I ordered the most famous dish in Cappadocia, clay pot beef. They cook the food in this clay pot, and then they like break the top off right in front of you. It's almost like a performance. You don't have to do beef. They also do it with chicken or lamb or with veggies. The food that they poured out of the clay pot was incredibly simple. I can't really sugarcoat it. I mean, this is a pile of meat, just some beef next to some rice. The meat had pretty good flavor, but it was tougher than you would usually expect from a Turkish dish, especially in something like a kebab. It's a good experience, and I'm glad I did it. But I have a hunch that you'll be like me and you'll just do the whole clay pot meal thing one time. I finished eating and went back to my hotel where I attempted an early bedtime. Sunrise in May is at 5:15 a.m. in Göreme, and the first round of balloons take off even earlier than that, at around 5 a.m. this time of year. I sluggishly threw on the same clothes that I wore the day before and forced myself out the door, hoping that there would even be balloons in the sky at all. That's important, by the way. The balloons, yeah, they don't always fly. It's weather dependent, so if the weather is too rainy or too windy, the balloons won't be able to go. The call is made by local meteorologists at the very last minute. So frequently, people will end up waking up super early just to find out that there are no balloons. I was praying that there were balloons. I mean, I flew all the way down here. I needed this content. My hotel was situated very near the Göreme overlook point, so thankfully it wasn't far to walk. It cost 20 Turkish lira to ascend, which comes out to just about 62 cents. Even before I got to the top, I could hear it. The sound of the propane filling the balloons in the valley. We were on, it was happening, the balloons were going, my phone was charged, and I was ready. Or I thought I was ready. Only 2 other times in the entirety of my travels have I ever experienced the rush of emotion that hit me as soon as I reached the top of that hill and looked over the rocky landscape. Once at the Grand Canyon in Arizona, and again when I saw the Northern Lights in Iceland. And those are both natural occurrences. Hot air balloons are, of course, man-made. So I was not expecting this feeling. I spent the next 2 hours in a battle with myself. I need to film. I need content. I need footage of this moment for my channel. But there was a serious part of me that felt like I was seeing something so special that I didn't want to give it away. I was hardly alone. There were at least 100 people up on that ridge, and every single one of us was taking photos or videos at every single moment of the entire 2-hour experience. And I mean, who wouldn't do that in the age of social media, right? It's stunning. As human beings, we want to show this to other people. We want to feel like other people are experiencing this moment alongside us. We want to be seen as people who do interesting and unique things. We want to be interesting and unique. We want attention. I wanted attention. I wanted attention more than I wanted to experience this likely once-in-a-lifetime moment. I slept in the next morning because I was taking the green tour and they were picking me up at 9 a.m. I found out later that the balloons didn't even launch that morning anyway. It was too windy, and balloon flights were canceled all across the region. Plus, I had just seen them the morning before, so it was fine, right? It actually makes me really happy to say that there is a whole lot to do in Cappadocia besides just the hot air balloon experiences. So much, in fact, that they actually split everything up into 2 distinctly separate tours. The red tour and the green tour. There's also a blue tour, but it's more expensive. The green tour took us into the Derinkuyu underground city. Not a ton is known about this place because they simply didn't leave behind very many clues for anthropologists to study. But it is believed that the Phrygians created the space in the 8th and 7th centuries BCE, and over time, various groups used it when they needed to escape from persecution and war. Today, tourists like me go down there willingly for some reason. It's extremely claustrophobic. I don't even mind close spaces usually, and this was a lot. The walls are really tight and it's really dark, and sometimes 2 people are trying to go in the opposite direction and you have to just like squeeze past each other. Anyway, it was historical. The green tour will also take you to the Selem Monastery, which is very cool and very high up. It reminded me of the Meteora monasteries in Greece, except for the fact that these ones are built inside caves, and also the fact that they haven't really been used in a very long time. I guess they're not actually all that similar. We also took a beautiful and simple hike through the Ilara Valley, which has an incredible park inside it. Gorgeous trees and wildlife, just stunning views all around. The red tour, which I did not take, gives you the chance to see a few of the activities that are closer to Goreme. One of those activities is the Open Air Museum, which is actually close enough that I was able to walk there from my hotel. You can do them both, but I suggest just doing the green tour and then walking or taking a cab to the places listed on the red tour if you want to do them all. Back from the tour, I got dinner across from my hotel at Pal's Kitchen. It should be said that nighttime and sunset in Goreme is just as beautiful as sunrise. The city lights against the stone buildings are stunning, and it would be worth a visit just to see this, even if you never see the hot air balloons at all. Pal's Kitchen has pretty lights and a rooftop, and it felt like the perfect location to just sit down and watch the sunset over the city. I ordered some Turkish ravioli, and it was good. Better than most of the other touristy meals that I had eaten. But I couldn't shake that feeling from the morning before. I've seen so many beautiful things in my travels. So many. But I have honestly never felt guilty in any way for capturing them on my camera. Film and video and photography are art forms of mine I take pride in shooting. This was weird. It doesn't help that literally everywhere you go in Cappadocia, you're seeing hot air balloon imagery. At Pal's Kitchen, they give you a coloring sheet where you color in the hot air balloons. And I mean, like I did it. Like I colored most of them. I actually saw that they hung up some of the best ones on the wall. It's like a coloring contest. And I wasn't gonna like tell them that I wanted to be on the Wall of Fame, but like, I wanted to be on the Wall of Fame. I finished eating and I had a moment of resolve. My flight back to Istanbul was the next day, but not until the evening. I was going to try to see the balloons again, but there was a problem. There was wind. in the forecast. I also had a second problem. They didn't hang up my coloring sheet. Like, what the hell, guys? Like, I did the outline thing and everything. I woke up on my last morning. This time, I didn't feel groggy. I felt determined. Weirdly, it felt like this was my one shot to see the balloons, even though I had seen them before. I left my phone in the hotel room, said good morning to the cats, paid my 20 lira, and ascended the hill one more time. I was anxious, but I was mentally trying to convince myself that it would be fine. Does it feel too windy? I don't know, I couldn't tell. What makes it be too windy? It is a little cloudy. Is that okay? It's not raining at least, but I was nervous. It turns out that something can be so beautiful that you don't want to share it. I wanted this one for me. I was praying that there were balloons. If there were, I would allow myself to be present in the moment, and I was going to allow myself the chance to actually enjoy one of the most beautiful sights that I had ever seen on Earth. No video from this day would ever make it to YouTube or to Instagram. I wanted one for my memories. But the wind was blowing harder and the clouds were getting thicker, and I don't know, I was starting to doubt that it was even gonna happen. But then, just when I was starting to get ready to turn back, I heard the propane